And that's where I am now. I'm on the trails and I'm going to put this bike through its paces. And I'm not going to sugarcoat anything here because I've tested a lot of e-bikes on these trails, so will this Cyrusher Rover live up to it? Feast your eyes on this. This is the Cyrusher Rover, a fat tyre, full suspension electric bike. Now, being ridden by someone with my talent, this is bound to end badly, isn't it? Cyrusher sent me this bike for review, but they've got no input into what I say, so I'm free to give you guys my own honest opinion. So really, this assistance is gonna pay off dividends when you come to a hill. And this hill is where I test all of my e-bikes. This is the very first test when I get a new e-bike, and it's called Kitwood Hill, and as you see there how it's dropping down. So will this Cyrusher Rover pull up this hill? Now that's an interesting test. These brakes are good actually, they're very, very good. Pull you up nicely. So I'm going to prepare myself. I'm going to go into first gear, pedal assist 5. Little shouty German Shepherd there. Right, so here we go. Pedal assist 5, first gear. Oh, and it's kicking in, it's pushing me, it's really pushing me. Second gear. Third gear, yep, it's just pushing. Wow. I'm not even out of the saddle, it's just breezing up there. Love it. Well, Kitwood Hill, you've done it with flying colours, absolutely no complaints there. Construction, well, the Cyrusher Rover came really well packed in record time. Everything to build this bike was included in the box. The complete toolkit, plus some added extras like handlebar mirrors and a foot pump. Plus there was an instruction manual with it which gave you the basic information. So the build time from unpacking to bike was around 35 minutes. And after you've built the bike up, just go around and check everything's tight, make sure you're happy with everything, and then put the battery on charge, which takes about 6 hours from empty. Logan calipers, they're single pot hydraulic front and rear, control panel, 3 ring ding, LCD panel, 7-speed Shimano, and obviously you have the front brake there. So let's just power it up. We're in pedal assist 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a single press for the lights. So we've got some nice LED lights there on the front, we've got the rear tail lights and brake lights, which are pretty cool both sides. And these chunky solid linkages are telling me that this Cyrusher Rover is aimed at the off-road trail market. And that's where I am now. I'm on the trails and I'm going to put this bike through its paces. The suspension appears to be working quite well. The fault travel on this is 130 millimeters, whereas my other e-bikes are around 80 millimeters. Oh yes, done it. For a heavy bike, this feels quite nimble on the trails, and it's nice to see the front brake on the right hand side, whereas a lot of e-bikes it's the other way round. And it's got what I call a generic front suspension, which is found on quite a few of these fat tyre e-bikes, but they do feel like they've got a really nice bouncy action to them. The rear suspension's quite stiff but functions well. It deals with a fat boy like me no problem at all. Walking around this bike, it's got a lovely stance, hasn't it? And all these welds are really tight on this aluminium frame. And you can see there you've got the chunky suspension linkages with a swinging arm, so I think that's going to add to the weight of the bike, because this is virtually a motorbike style rear end. The 250 watt motor peaks at 1400 watts, so make of that what you will. This bike is in the UK compliant mode, so it's restricted 250 watts, but I don't think being restricted will hamper the hill climbing. It's only top speed. So, oh, that was a bit of a jump. So let's put this to the test on a couple of hills. Logan single pot hydraulic brakes on 180mm rotors. These have just started to bed in nicely and they've got a lovely grip to them. As always, chunky front and rear 4-inch tyres running at about 15 psi. 7-speed Shimano Tawny derailleurs. I've used this gear set on many of my e-bikes, never given me a problem. Nice smooth changes. So let's have a little talk about the cadence sensor and what we've got here, the torque sensor. So the torque sensor is more like, should we say, your traditional bicycle. With the torque sensor, you're more reliant on the gears. So although this is restricted to 16 miles an hour or whatever, it's still giving me enough punch to do what I want. You don't very often go faster than 16 miles an hour in these trails, do you? So far so good. So we're going to need pedal assist 5, which I've got there, and first gear, which I now have. Let's go for Jacob's ladder. Oh, jumped gear a bit there, went into second. No, it got up there, no problem at all. In fact, it flew up there. It's just the fact that it jumped into second gear. The 52 volt battery should give you about 60 miles of riding if you conserve the battery by using a low pedal assist. Seat height between 86 and 105 centimeters, handlebar height 71 centimeters, suggested rider height 165 to 190 centimeters. The warranty, the frame is 2 years, battery and parts is 1 year. Well, if this video has brought you any entertainment or value, why not like and subscribe and read those comments below, because there's some important information within the comments. Price at the moment, I think there's £200 off. It's about £1,599, which I think for a full suspension e-bike isn't too bad. So what do I think about this Cyrusher Rover? Well, it's a great fun e-bike. Like I said, you're not going to be doing silly things like jumps on it. It's just for a bit of leisurely fun without pushing those skill limits. Although it's a heavy bike, it does feel quite nimble on those tracks, but in all honesty, it does need to lose a bit of weight, just like most of us. But for those of you who aren't in the UK and not restricted by our silly laws, will have the potential to unlock that. So I really do think you'll get the full benefits of this bike. But having said that, even in the UK compliant mode, the power delivery comes in with a punch. It gets up as many hills in restricted mode as the unrestricted mode. So what I'm saying is the restricted mode only really affects the top speed, it doesn't affect the torque. So where do we go from here? Well, I don't think you really know a bike until you've used it for about 6 months. So what I'm going to do is do a 6-monthly review on this bike, and also I'll be at Detectiveville in September and I'll probably bring this bike along with me. So if you're there, why not come over to the Skill School hailing stand and have a go on it? How does that sound? Can't say fairer than that. So where's this bike the most happy? On the roads or on the trails? Personally, I thought it was at home on the trails, because you've got the fat tyres doing the work, you've got the suspension doing the work, and you don't need really to go above 16 miles an hour. Plus you've still got all that low down torque. When you're on the road, you have this urge to just go a little bit faster, and that's when the pedal assistance cuts out, and then you've got to really put some effort in. And from my point of view, it's not worth putting the extra effort in, because it's quite a big boy, isn't it? So yeah, I think on the trails, that's where this ticks all the boxes. Okay, fantastic. Star of the show, well done, bye for now.